Welcome back. We're going to see how much further we're going to get in Suzerain today. I probably shouldn't be streaming, but that's never stopped me before, and it won't stop me this time. So, as far as it goes, I'm thinking we're going to go with the Human Instrumentality Project for uh, the well, that was very articulate of you, Argent. For the Holocaust. That is going to be the new name of it. Very articulate. It's going to be the Human Instrumentality Project, or HIP, or HIP, for short, or something like that. So, yeah, let's see here. Let's see how we go. Okay, so here are Torpor Games. Let's see if we can maybe finish this baby off. Actually, I don't know if we can finish it off. Hopefully, there will only be one or two streams left because this seems to be going on for a really long time. Okay, let's see, where are we? Okay, I arrived at. No, it is actually sparkling, ginger ale flavored water. Okay. No, I just didn't do a debate coverage stream because it looked boring as shit. I was just too tired. So. It was your men who started this ridiculousness and meddled with an ongoing police investigation. Their voices were getting louder and louder. Rural security is my distinction, is my jurisdiction. Your men were way outside of that sword. Mr. Lucien, Lancia, and Miss Graff, please calm down. What is the problem? Mr. President, Mr. Vice President, apologies, but Miss Graff here fails to understand her place. What a Chad. He's just like, look, woman, you want to be in charge of security? This is fucking Swordland. No woman is going to be in charge of my security force. If you continue to do so, you will pay for it one day, while threatening him. That's enough. Calm down, both of you. I'm trying really hard to stay calm, Mr. President. Yosef, let's let us know. So, Lieutenant General of the Gendarmerie was tracking a drug trafficking ring into the countryside of Vesord. We immediately acted on it. Just when we were about to raid their hideout with live weapons, the police units arrived at the scene and alerted the criminals. As a result, the criminals got away. I think this was the last drop. Internal security matters should be handed over to Ministry of Interior completely. So that's the answer. Is just to give more power to the person who we're pretty sure is Seoul's deep state plant. We're gonna give her more power. I think that's a good idea. So I can either trust her, or I could trust Yosef, who doesn't really seem to have a political agenda. I trust the army a lot more than I trust her. No, I can't give them the Clinton special. Lilith set us up to create this incident. What proof do you have? There's no way that the police arrived at the right time of a month-long search on the exact day and minute of the raid. Yeah, that is kind of sussy. No, you can't change the state religion. You can impose state atheism, but you can't change the state religion. Uh, you might be right. Heed my word, Mr. President. When dealing with these kind of situations, you always need to look at who gets what out of it. I won't stand by these utterly ridiculous and baseless accusations. I don't have time for this. Uh huh. What is your decision? The gendarme will remain with the military. Okay, so that resolved basically nothing, but I'm not giving all of my country's intelligence stuff over to one person. Okay, briefing on the current healthcare investigation. Mr. President, no, this seems like a lot. Reviewing it shouldn't take more than a day. He measured the pile again, or maybe two. Very well. Thanks for bringing those in. No problem at all. Okay, let's begin. I don't want to bore you, so I will quickly summarize. So, why did he bring all this stuff in if he was going to summarize? I don't know. Thanks to the allocated funds, we've improved healthcare in the country overall. I've used the resources to begin a comprehensive health reform. We have more patients treated, less waiting times, and higher treatment quality than the years before. That's great to hear. Just as I expected, it was a good decision to. No, you can go fascist and not take emergency powers. You have to have it set up so that you're making an alliance with the National Front Party. Look up a guide for a dictator run because that's different than emergency powers. No, Pascal, we will surpass them. Yes, we will. Moving on. The investment we poured into our rural health facilities have paid off greatly. The quality of increased care increased due to the upgraded equipment. We were able to hire more healthcare staff. That's good. Yes, they've been neglected for a long time due to political reasons, not anymore. All of these efforts have resulted in a clear increase in quality of health service provided to our citizens. Now I'll give you the short summary. There's a very important matter to discuss. Okay, take a look. It was a report from the Ministry of Health. Each page had a stamp on it that read "For the President's Eyes Only." The report was titled "Polio Outbreak in Bergia." So I guess I could just let that could be the final solution to the Bloodish question, is to just allow polio to kill everybody. What do you think, Rain? Rain's just lying on my lap. Okay, it's very concerning. Their total number affected is currently 1467. If only it was 1488. The death toll is at 23 so far. If we make more outbreaks, the results will be terrible. Thankfully, we've received the additional funding to our healthcare. This should curb the infection ratio, although I'm afraid this might not even be enough. I will do whatever it takes to eliminate the threat. We've done our research. There is a cure. A vaccine was recently invented in United Cantana, and the formula has been made available for free across the entire world, which is what happened with polio. What's his name? Dr. Salk? The inventor of polio didn't patent the polio vaccine. He instead just real publicly released how to make it, and it enabled mass production of polio vaccines at very cheap rates, and polio was more or less eradicated within a decade or two. Uh, We can produce the vaccine locally. We have to implement a mandatory polio vaccination policy. With your order, I can get to work to ensure whatever it takes. This may seem excessive, however, it's absolutely necessary. Yep, go ahead. Excellent. Now, if you excuse me, I will get back to work. Thank you for your time, Mr. President. So, as I've said in the past, I'm pro vaccine. I'm just not pro this vaccine when it comes to the COVID vaccine. Um, I mean, vaccines clearly work. The fact that we don't have like continual outbreaks of smallpox and diphtheria and typhoid and all these other diseases, like the fact that if you like any book you read from like the 19th century, these diseases just don't show up anymore, I think is evidence of that. Let's see, Old Guard investigation report. Okay, here we go. The anti-corruption police is continuing its investigations of the Old Guard. A few leads have uncovered, revealing several have been uncovered, revealing several low-level cases of corruption, as well as high-ranking party officials, possible ties to Bernard Sickas' investigation. This will be duly followed up upon. So it looks like the Old Guard were the ones who actually killed Bernard Sickas. He was the he was the guy who got shot in the opening scene in this game. So if we all recall, let's just follow the conspiracy theory down the rabbit hole. Bernard Sickas got shot during your inauguration bowl. Immediately after that, who shows up? But Daddy Hawker comes in and says, "We want you to declare a state of emergency. We want you to do a state of emergency, and because we're having this violence that's going on, and we have this like conspiracy theory that the opposition is working for both sides of the Cold War and Rumberg. So they're working for the non-aligned movement and the communists and the capitalists, and we have to have emergency. Basically, what I'm saying, this whole thing is one massive Giesler op. Is that the Old Guards had this massive conspiracy to try to get you to declare a state of emergency in order to stop you. So, yeah. So it's kind of interesting because I really had no idea that they were even going to bring it up again. I just thought it was something that happened. But that's kind of a cool thing about this game. Occasionally you'll just find stuff like this where it'll unveil some of what's going on behind the scenes. So let's see, anti-corruption police. Oh, let's see, what else is there? Just seeing what else there is. Commercial activity is going. Special zone is okay, being abolished. So from my understanding, as far as I can tell, Swordland is a unitary state where the governors are appointed directly by the central government, and there's no regional assemblies, but mayors and town councils get elected. So Constantine says, most in-depth political simulator I've ever seen. It depends how you want to describe it in depth. Like, there's some stuff that's a lot more autistic than this. Like, if you look at, like, the economy simulator in Victoria 3, or, like, just some of the factory games. I'm sure there's, like, some really autistic thing that takes, like, 100 hours to figure out how it even works. As far as, like, simulating an actual running a country, I would tend to agree. Obviously, it's kind of dramatic, but you have real choices you have to make. There are real consequences, and there are real things are a bit more complicated than they immediately go. Yeah, it does give you the feeling of being a head of state in a national emergency. Fair Trade Commission has opened. The effort to bring fairness to trade and commerce in Swordland is led by visionary small business owner who sued Heart of Swordland in an unfair competition bid and won. Okay, so that's cool. All right, so we have some additional stuff we can do. We have Swordland State and Radio Television has opened. Um, okay, and we're going to be going through and taking direct control of all the media. Healthcare spending. So we can, there is budget left in the Ministry of Health that we can spend on several different programs in order to better improve healthcare. I am going to build a state of the art medical hospital school. That seems like a good idea. Okay, so we now have a state of the art medical school. The people wanted for you to watch the debate and then you didn't. Well, that's democracy. That's how democracy works. I fortified the election. Um, that election had no ethics in video game journalism. Let's see. So that we have a new. So yeah. So like, look at welfare. We have just like a massive, long list of positives. So stuff is going pretty well. Meeting with the family. It's about the women's struggle in post-revolutionary Vagueland and its breakaway stakes. Uh huh. I was told it was Soul who collected most of them. Quite unexpected, really. But anyways, actually, that's pretty normal. Like, so one of the things that would happen with Mao is most books were banned under Mao, but he would keep one copy of them because Mao was a bibliophile who loved reading. Uh, like he had a special bed design so he could hold more books on it. So basically, any book they found, they'd bring one copy to him so he could read it, and then they would burn all the others. He was the best of all in the end. Thanks to you, I was just about the only woman at university he didn't go after. But I saw the way he was, and he continued to be. The truth is that man has always been a bad influence on you. And I don't think he should be forgiven after what he did. I mean, she's right, but so like here's the thing. So Peter is a complete and total fuck up. Um and his actions screwed you over. But unlike pretty much everyone else in this game, he didn't snake you. He didn't throw you under the bus deliberately. So I know Peter had his problems, Monica, but he is my friend. I don't want to badmouth him behind his back. I know, I'm sorry. She sighed. I don't know, Anton. All of this seems to put you under a massive amount of stress. Maybe we can have some time for a little getaway. That sounds marvelous. Let's make the arrangements. Great. Okay. What have you got there, darling? We hope that this. We advise all of you to tread carefully, for it was Anton Rain who grew the darkness over this land and suffocated our people. For what the president did, he and his family shall face retribution. What does it say? You suffocated people. Um. I don't know. I think it was just a joke. The Bloodish Freedom Front. So the Bloodish Freedom Front is just super angry at me at the moment. Even though I actually did a lot of stuff for the Bloods, but the Bloods are just not yeah. I found it in the living room. Window is stuck between the frames. Uh, well done, sweetheart. But next time, please talk to me or your mother before touching things like that. Are they threatening us for something you did? Uh, some people think I've done bad things, but you wouldn't really do anything bad, would you? I know you always try to do what's best for everyone. Uh, I strive to be the best I can be, but some people have different opinions. We can't let the bad people win. Uh, we will not let them win. We'll keep every precaution to take the family safe. Anton. Okay. I know the Anshraf anniversary will take place in a few days. I don't want you to attend. You know it's the largest ever commemoration. It will be swarming with bloodish separatists. This cannot be a coincidence. Uh, let's see. I will not attend the victory. I will not take any risk. That's good to know. Please, Anton, listen to me this time. She sighed. Do you think we can trust the Presidential Guard after this? Uh, I will, honey, I will. I felt a chill running down my spine. No, I am not going. I think your public opinion actually goes up if you refuse to go. Um, I think it lowers your public opinion if you go. Okay, briefing on the current political. Or 1 second. Presidential security increased. Our initial reports are showing that, especially among the youth, advertisement over television is becoming a very effective method. I have consulted with a few advisors, and we would like to put out a television campaign. Surdland's largest advertising agency is already on board to produce the spots. For this, they will be given security clearance to come in and take footage and photos and videos in the Maroon Palace. Specifically, we want footage of the president working and posing. That way, people can feel closer to their leader in their homes. What do you think? That sounds great. I always wanted to be a television star. I'll assume that you're joking and note that down as a yes. One more thing. The mayors are extremely happy with the extra funds you have provided to assist with their campaigns. This will surely boost our popularity. Excellent. We need all the help we can get. I just received the results of a poll commissioned by Peter shortly before his departure. To put it in plain language, it's looking quite good. The USP stands to increase its share of the vote by up to 20% compared to 1953. But it's already quite a healthy lead. Still, there's no harm in striving for more. Looking at the demographics of the voters polled, you're doing reasonably well among conservatives. Okay, that's my support base. A lot of what I did was to try to make conservatives like me. They are 2/3 of them are likely to vote for you. The liberal base appears to be divided, but you have a considerable number of supporters there. That's not surprising. Even if I did pass a lot of socially conservative policies, I did reform the Constitution and education and healthcare. For better or worse, you certainly aren't popular with nationalists. If you ever had any support from socialists, you completely lost it now. Unsurprisingly, none of the Bloodish poll respondents said they were planning on voting for you. Lastly, we're pulling a big share of the centrist and unaffiliated vote. So, what do you suggest? Thank you, Mr. President. This may sound, but a convincing enough campaign can succeed where policies fail. Choosing to focus on your campaign was already a good start. I'd advise you seize every chance for exposure that you can. Like the television ad? Yes, precisely. On another note, okay. A robust economy will make up for a lot of unpopular policies. Very true. I have reason to suspect that Lilius Graf will attempt to challenge you for USP leadership. How do you know? I've been keeping my ear to the ground as always. At any rate, if my suspicions are true, you will need as many allies within the party as possible, or you can hope that the ongoing investigation into the old guard unveils enough evidence to neutralize her as a threat. Oh, we're going to do that all right. But as you know, but keep this close to your chest. You know how much power she wields in these halls. I will. Thank you for telling me. Of course, sir. That was everything on my end. Excellent. Good work. Codex entry updated Supreme Court. Mr. President, we have a problem. Go on. This just came in. Here, take a look. It's entitled Bloodish Freedom Front Attacks Seoul Dam. I looked up immediately after reading the title. You read that right. The Bloodish Freedom Front has taken over Seoul Dam. The dam currently provides 90% of electricity to Bergia and its neighboring regions. If they destroy the power station, I don't even want to think about the outcome. Thankfully, no casualties have been reported yet. We know that they have taken the staff as hostages. Okay, Carl Greiser comes in. There he is. He saluted me. Okay, what is going on? Mr. President, sorry for being late. I've already informed the president. We have just received the demands from the terrorists. Read the demands. President Raven, in the name of peace, we've taken hold of the Seoul Dam. The free people of Bloody have suffered enough under the tyranny of Swordland. Our villages were destroyed. Our men and women assaulted. Our grandchildren, our children killed by our very own government in the name of this dam. We, the BFF, are with the people. We, the BFF, always defend the downtrodden. We, the BFF, fight for freedom. We know compassion. We, the BFF, are not like the Swordish government. We know compassion. We believe there's a chance of reconciliation between our people. That is why we are demanding a delegation from the Swordish government to negotiate the price of our freedom. We are ready to sit at the table as equals. Make no mistake, we all also know that true freedom comes at a cost. We will not hesitate to sacrifice as many lives as is necessary to achieve our goals. If our demands are not met, we will cut off electricity to the entirety of Bergia and Nargis regions. Take this as your final warning. Free Bloodland. Free Blood. Yeah. We will not negotiate with terrorists. Search and destroy. Infiltrate the dam quietly and take them out. That sounds good. As you command. It's good that we're taking immediate action. Thank you, Mr. President. That's all for today. Keep me posted. So there is a Bloodish uprising. I have sent the army in to immediately deal with it. Let's see here. Okay. Arcasia offers military aid. Arcesian Foreign Minister Laurent Martel, in concert with Arcesian President Dwight Walker, has extended a significant proposition to bolster Swordland's military industrial complex in Edrica. The generous aid package includes financial assistance, logistical support, expert guidance from their private military companies. This aligns with the industrial expansion plans. Okay, right, except the military aid. There we go. Okay, so I'm getting some more investments from my friends in America or Arkesia, so that's good. Uh, if I was going to do a second term, this is when I would choose probably to expand the army. I just didn't really see why there's a point. It just massively expanding and modernizing the army during a depression didn't seem like the best use of money, at least in the short term. Let's see. Security Act. Okay, to fortify public safety. Okay, I will sign this into law. I think just about anything to reduce. We have an active like insurrection going on, so I think just about anything is probably justified at this point in time. Governor Bergia kidnapped by BFF, bombing of outpost. Well, the polio disease is controlled, so that's good. What's the theme of this run? Democracy with Argent characteristics. Uh, Industrial expansion. Let me see. I'm trying to remember what these different ones do. Let's see here. I'm trying to think what have I spent money on? Uh, just not sure which one I'm supposed to take. I don't think I did that one. Okay, so let's see here. Uh, Hellsbergia helps Lauren. I guess I'll go with automotive industry. I think that's a good idea. Let's see. Where's automotive expansion program? Oh, we'll see how it goes. Oh, oops. Okay, I went with cars. It's gonna be okay, guys. It's gonna be okay. Okay, the Women's Liberation Act. here we go. Let's see here. All right, guys, it's time. It's fucking time. Let's go. Let's get divorced. In the promoting gender equality and women's rights across Swordland, it takes decisive action against domestic violence perpetrated against women. It it unequivocally once you beat the game, that unlocks system of state protection for victims of domestic abuse. This includes counseling, temporary shelters, arraignment, and legal support, ensuring a comprehensive safety net for affected women. Um, you can actually reload. It does autosave. Um, Even if you haven't beaten the game, and you can reload autosaves. It's just I think it's at like the start of a turn or something. Uh, it mandates equal pay for. So I actually agree with Section One. Um, I don't think domestic abuse should be legal, so I don't really have a problem with outlining that. This Wage Equality Act is no. Education system, I see the problem with this is I actually um no, the problem is I can't pass parts of this. So if I could pass this bill, like if just me personally, I would pass okay, criminalizing domestic abuse, that's fine. I agree with that. That's good. Um Allowing women to take the same curriculum as men in public schools, that doesn't bother me either. I would sign that. Supporting lurking mothers, yes. So the problem is I'm okay. So I'm okay with 1, 3, and 4. I am not okay with 2. You know what? Let's veto this fucker. Let's see how this goes. Oh hi, I thought Mom would pick up. She's off on her ladies' crusade as usual. My commander's worried women might be allowed into the military now. He thinks they're too emotional to serve. I got the record you sent me, not bad, from old folks music. Peter thought you might like it. How's Uncle Peter doing? Surprisingly, well, he's actually seeing a therapist. He may even quit alcohol. The military is worried about things escalating with Rumberg since you threw Livia in jail. They're going more and more troops near Mogver. See, one of the problems is that's what the issue is when you bundle a whole bunch of shit together. The goal is obviously to get somebody to pass it. Um, and overlook the one bad aspect of the legislation, but in this case, yeah. Honestly, I was so ticked off at you for sending me here, but I'm really starting to like it. Thank God for failure, right? You were never a failure. Serge was here with my pizza. Wait, Serge is gonna come over and eat pizza and drink beer with me? This is like the best night ever. Okay, so Serge comes over, we have a massive pizza, we drink beer, and we watch the football team that I own. This is like the best night ever. Okay, improve transportation links. So I think because I decided to invest in because I decided to invest in cars, that helped out with the improved transportation links. Okay, let's see. Children for the Future Act. In continuation of the efforts to promote social progress and upliftment, the Parliament introduces the Children for Future Act. This, the welfare of children, offers direct financial support mechanism for families not falling within the median or high income brackets. The state will issue a fixed payment for every child in these families, offering a much needed financial relief, ensuring that the welfare of the child is not affected. Okay, so um just trying to find. So this is the Children for the Futures Act. I'm just trying to see what this what the impact of this actually is. What does it do? It gives the green situation welfare benefits. Okay, I'm just curious. I'm just looking this up because I think I've gotten this before. Women's Liberation Act. Okay. Um, oh, if you pass the Women's Liberation Act, it actually hurts your economy. Let's see here. Children for the Future Act. It increases public opinion and doesn't do anything else. So, I think I'm gonna veto it because I don't want the welfare state to go. So vetoed. Human Dignity Act. Okay. Which previously allowed transactions involving. Let's see. Does this one cost money? Uh, no, I don't think this one costs money to pass. The inadvertent loopholes created by the 1923 Act, which resulted in the unregulated existence of prostitution. This section explicitly categorizes prostitution as an illegal activity, irrespective of whether or not it occurs in an. Okay, so basically, it bans prostitution. Now, I actually kind of have mixed feelings about this. I don't know if you realistically can ban prostitution. I don't know. I've heard some arguments from like right wing, like even traditional Catholics as to why prostitution should be legal and why you can't outlaw it. So I'm kind of unsure. I'm going through a conservative run, so I'm gonna sign this into law. Human Dignity Acts. Wait, did I just get completely away with vetoing the Women's Liberation Act? Well, they shouldn't have sent it to me as like as one thing. I would have signed parts of it. Okay, I straighten myself, look at Carl, who is sitting on the couch across from me, ready to give me the report on the Soul Dam. We all the rebels were eliminated immediately after with zero casualties from our security forces. One of the rebels who died at the operation was identified to be their current leader. We will soon eradicate their group completely, Mr. President. Have no worries. Okay, so finding smaller groups before they can reorganize. Good. You can count on us. Was there anything else? That's all there is for now, so I'll be going. Okay. So there we go. Bloodish Freedom Front has been eliminated, and we have managed to put down the terrorists. They got literally wiped out in one operation, so that's cool. Let's see here. So I now have fund a political youth group. I think I'm gonna not fund one. Because I don't think I need one at the moment. And the National Front doesn't like me, and I don't want to give them more power. I am going to. We have a couple bills to look at. Fair Luxury Tax Act. So, I'm kind of on the fence. I don't think I actually have any problems unless I get to like -7 budget. And I'm only at -2, so I probably don't really need to worry about it. These bills cost a lot of a public opinion hits if you enact them. Okay, so this would mean -2 economic development, -2 public opinion. So I'm just going to veto this. We're also going to veto the Alcohol Tax Act. Let me see. Or let me see. How much does this impact the economy? Yeah, that gives you a huge negative public, so we're going to veto this. Okay. Oh, I got an achievement. What was the achievement? Obstructionist, veto 8 bills. Emergency call on the escalating situation. Let's wait the car, please. We must maintain peace in Swordland and Eastern Mercopa at all costs. What do you expect us to do, sir? Sit around and do nothing? They are testing us. We must respond immediately, otherwise they will think we are weak. What status report now? Mr. President, thank you for coming in at this late hour. There is a situation. Falcon, please go ahead and provide your report. Mr. President, apparently 20 minutes ago, Rumberg downed one of our airplanes with anti-aircraft fire from the ground. The pilot was declared killed in action. The last recorded position of the plane was inside Swedish airspace. General Kruger, I mean no offense, but are we absolutely sure that this is the case? Are you sure that this happened within our borders? No offense taken. Here are the locations of the map. To answer your question, we are absolutely sure. The plane was down approximately 10 kilometers inside our borders. We've calculated the trajectory of the gunfire. That the plane was within our borders. The plane was down near Helgen. We need to be cautious. A war with Rumberg is the last thing we need right now. I completely agree. It looks like they're trying to lure us into their trap. We have enough military power to contest against this violation of international law. We should attack and down one of their planes in retaliation. Otherwise, we will look weak. We can't look weak. If we appear weak, they will jump on the opportunity. We must order a military retaliation. Our army is to do whatever it takes to protect Swordland. What are your orders? I didn't increase the size of the army. If I had have increased the size of the army, I probably could fight Rumberg, but I just like this is interesting because we're seeing this. I'm playing this like a couple weeks after we've had the attempts to start a war between like the U.S. and Yemen, the U.S. and Iran over something just like this. So who knows even what happened if the deep state shot this down? If maybe the plane was like further over uh, Rumberg territory? Who even knows? Immediately again, be working on it. The diplomatic response makes sure that incidents like this are prevented. If there's a next time, I'm afraid it will be war. Yeah, so like you got to give Yosef some credit. He at least like is reasonable. Like he wanted it, but he wanted to like to use force. But yeah. What a bitch. Okay, we'll do a military parade. That seems like a decent response. If Lucian, Yosef, and David all agree on it, then that those three dudes have very different perspectives, but they seem to like it. Okay. Urgent meeting on potential alliances. Okay. Entered the room, Mr. President. We came as fast as we could. What is going on? Welcome, everyone. Due to the potential ramifications, I wanted everyone to be present for this meeting. We received an envoy from Arkesia. They were requesting a state visit. Judging from the current climate, it's not hard to see what it is about. ATO is trying to expand its influence after all. They will most likely try to convince us to join. In addition, as part of the state visit, Dwight Walker will meet with you in person, Mr. President. Good. It's about time I wanted to meet with him as well. With all due respect, are you out of your mind, Mr. Lance Yosef? Just saying that we cannot even consider accepting this. I bet he will come here asking for our cooperation under the guise of enforcing their demands to join ATO. This will antagonize half the world against us, and we are going to be at the forefront of the battle. If you are approaching this from a perspective of national defense, then don't. We are in better shape than we were ever before. I assure you, we don't need any outside help. Definitely not from Dwight Walker. We'll make it do somehow. Let's see what he wants first. We need to be careful. Mr. Walker will never give us anything for free. There will be some concessions for sure. What do you think is the right course of action? Rumberg is bound to increase diplomatic pressure in the upcoming Alliance of Nations meeting. Backchannels are reporting reports about Queen Beatrice Livingston meeting with military leaders. I'm afraid it might not be possible to stand against Rumberg without strong allies. Soon we will have to take a side in the global rivalry to avert a potential conflict with Rumberg. I found out of a planned meeting between the Queen and United Canada. The ATO and Doug Walker might be the necessary evil to stop worse things from happening. Lucian, what do you think? Everyone to decide. Very well, accept their offer. I'll send a response immediately. Making it extravagant again, we need to impress them. So once again, I gotta give Yosef credit. Like, he doesn't like it, but he no, Dwight Walker. I just keep saying Doug Walker because it's just the way it is. It's obviously a reference to Eisenhower, like Dwight D. Eisenhower. Okay, police ready for operation. Canada Security Pact, Republic of Morella. Okay, so there's more countries joining each side. So I think Kairut is a Switzerland analog. It's where the Alliance of Nations is headquartered. Let's see here. Where was the League of Nations headquartered? Was it in Switzerland? I don't remember. Where was it founded? Yeah, it was in Geneva. Okay, so it was in Geneva. Okay, I was tripping up there for a minute. State visitor President Walker. Dwight Walker, president of Arkesia, head of the ATO, came out of his car, smiling and waving at the enormous crowd that had gathered. It's not every day an Arkeesian president came to visit Swordland. Let's look at the Arkeesian flag. No, that does not in any way look like the NATO flag. Um, yeah. Is this welcome to your liking? Sure, it is. Lucian, great job. If you told me I would get to meet your lovely wife, I would have come sooner. That's a very Democrat way of doing it. I'm very charmed, Mr. Ray. Oh, I'm. Oh my, thank you, Mr. Walker. It's a pleasure to meet with you. So we have the Walker Plan, which is basically the Marshall Plan. Let's see here. Member of the Democracy Party. Transformative economic policies which lifted a substantial portion of the population out of poverty. Under his leadership, Arkesia flourished, giving rise to the concept of the Arkeesian dream. Staunch opponent to communism and anarchism, uh, ultra capitalist and libertarian policies. Let's see here. So, yeah. I've wanted to meet you for the longest time. I assure you, the feeling is mutual. That's why I'm here, in fact. Okay, we crossed it. Okay, dry martinis. Ladies and gentlemen, everyone, let's give a warm welcome to our guest of honor. People started clapping. It's really good to be here, and thank you for the warm welcome. Okay, can I call you Monica? You saved me, Monica, at your service, Mr. President. Never took you for a dancer. That goes both ways, Mr. Walker. Okay. All right. The president and I swapped our drinks for Allery maroon 30-year-olds. I knew a special spot. With our drinks at hand, we went down the stairs to the basement. Gradually, the music and the sound of the party started to fade away. We arrived at a cozy little corner office with not much inside other than a table and comfortable chairs. He took a seat and I followed suit. He pulled out two cigars. I took one. I heard you got a scandal, something about a secretary. Uh, the American president's asking about the secretary scandal. It's really unfortunate chain of events, indeed. He grinned. Right. It's just a scandal, and I'm no reporter. I just made it out of a bad one myself. Oh, it was a rough one. Does it say what it is? You get used to it. A couple people in prison, couple people silenced. You know the drill. Cheers to your survival, then, Mister Rain. This is a good one. Very smoky. I like it. Never had an Elnori Maroon before. Definitely miles better than Vug's Landian whiskey. But I like lesbian whiskey more. It pairs better with their cigars. Oh, he's making some comments about international politics. You see, Mr. Rain, whiskeys are a bit like countries. Some are stronger, some are weaker, some are older, some are younger. Many are complex, but sometimes simple is the best. I personally like stronger whiskeys in general. That's why I like this one. Yes, it's definitely promising. But whatever you drink, in the end, it all boils down to your own taste. And I assure you, Mr. Rain, my sense of taste is very refined. What type of whiskey do you like? I like stronger ones. A man after my own heart. You know why I'm here. I want to make you an offer. The type that I can't refuse. Of course not. This is an offer, not an order. Times are changing, and so is the balance of this world. Soon, instead of a fractured world, we will see a more united one. There is us, ATO, against them. I want you by our side, the winning side. I think um, there is much we can achieve together, and you have shown me the proof. If you accept, I would like to extend you a warm welcome to ATO as a full member state. This comes with lots of privileges and responsibilities. At ATO, we protect each other. We have a mutual defense clause in case of war. Uh, Join us, Mr. Rain, and you will have the entire backing of ATO, soldiers, jets, warships, whatever you like. During peacetime, you will see our effects even more. Our combined production output will benefit both Swordland and ATO. We will have free trade zone agreements, free visa access, investments, you name it. All I ask in return is mutual loyalty to one another in the pact. I mean, it's a pretty fucking good deal. Basically everything, you just have to be on board if America starts World War III. I'm okay with that. The Swedish Armed Forces will be a member of the ATO military structure. All branches, be it Air, Navy, Army, will collaborate with the Alliance Network. We will provide assistance and training for free. Armies will learn how to fight together and be stronger than ever in the face of the. Let's make history night. What do you say? Let's see here. Is that all you're asking for? Or is expecting more demands? But why, Mr. Rain? In my mind, we are already allied. Where I'm coming from, where I am coming is more so from the perspective of friendship and stability in Eastern Mercopa. Let's join. That's what I like to hear. Shut up and shook hands. Welcome to the ATO, Mr. Rain. Welcome home. Cheers to our newfound partnership. Now it's starting to taste better. Okay, we have much to discuss, but we need to celebrate. Besides, I have a few dance moves to show off. Okay, so I am now part of the ATO, the Artesian Treaty Organization, a military and economic alliance between 14 countries led by Arkesia. Capitalist countries decided to protect the world from communism. Let's see here. Recently, the ATO has become increasingly focused on increasing the nuclear protection as the new military weapon has advanced enough to become part of warfare. Are there any political requirements to join the ATO? Yes, you can't have done anything. So if you traded with Vagsland or had friendly relationships with communist countries, then they will ask for a lot more. You basically, if you want to get into ATO and you negotiated with Vagsland, then you have to basically subordinate yourself to them. Particularly if you recognize Helge's land as part of Dagesland. Agnolia and is a neutral country, so they don't care if you're allied with them. That doesn't bother them. Welhen is a socialist leaning country, but isn't part of Canada, so they aren't really worried about that. They're friends with Lesbia, so they'd be happy if you were allied with them. I think Lesbia's in ATO. Yeah, it's a member of ATO as well. Relations allied, military strong, population 79 million. Let's see what it says for Swordland. Okay. So now that I am in a now that I'm in an alliance with ATO, that basically ends the whole military threat from Rumburg. Because now that I'm part of NATO, if they were to attack me, they would go to war with America and the rest of them, and they have nuclear weapons as well. So that's so I'm good there. The only thing that can really screw you though is if you decide to join ATO and then start the war yourself. It will pull them into the Mutual Defense Pact, and it will basically exterminate. It'll cause a war that will uh, devastate the world. Let's see, country friendly relations, weak military. Just gonna look at what's it say for Welham. Neutral relations, weak military, trade agreement, oil trade, member of AN. What does it say for Rizia? Relations neutral, military weak. Lesbia strong. I don't think you can see Canada on this. Okay. Supreme Council of Swordfish Radio and Television announced a ban on HOS TV's talk show program, Sweaty Talk, and the comedy show Gotta Live With It for making dangerous anti government propaganda and inciting conflict within society. Base. Let's see. Fair Trade Commission, new trade regulations to balance import and export differences to ensure local competition can remain strong. Okay, that sounds good. So, I'll talk about Henry Kissinger in a second. So, I mean, honestly, America, like, I'm not a bad alliance pick with them. I'm a nominally democratic capitalist country. Yeah, my country's pretty conservative, but at this point in time, like the U.S. doesn't really care about that. Because keep in mind, they would back fascist theocracies, absolute monarchies, as well as liberal democracies. So I think the army will coup you if you join the communists. They don't like the Americans. They don't like being part of international alliances, but they will kind of just grumble and accept it. Um, in that case, they will not in the other case if that happens. If you join the communists. Okay, international airport, investment synergy. Okay, well, let's take a look. Yeah, so I recognized Hellage's land as Angolian. So that's okay with America or Arkesia because Hagen's land is a. I'm sorry, I'm not pronouncing any of these properly. Is not a is a communist country, so they don't mind that I'm stumping a communist country. Okay, progressive approach, ATO member, heightened immigration, lots of trade with Wellhead, defended border against the BFF. Okay, so I'm a member of a strategic alliance. I think you need to purge the communists. Um, Going communist is a lot harder, So soulism is a like nationalist conservative. It's based on Kemalism, except it's not very liberal. So it is a statist, socially conservative ideology. So they don't really like capitalism and they don't really like socialism. They hate communism more though than they hate capitalism, which I think kind of makes sense. I mean, Turkey was part of NATO during World War II. I mean, during the Cold War. ATO, Artesian aid. Okay, fluctuating energy prices. Okay, higher steel price. I'm just looking at this. Artesian influence. Foreign energy manipulation. Embargoed by United Canada. Uh, I mean, I have a pretty wide range of partnerships, so I'm not particularly worried about that. Anti-corruption raids, security powers. Epidemic prevented, modernized education. We still teach creationism though because we're based. Consistent economy, small business. Well, like once again, the whole creationism versus evolution thing is I'm not a young Earth creationist, but the vast majority of people who the person who believes in young Earth creationism is probably going to agree with me on other issues more, if that makes sense. Law, military, ATO officers, joint military exercises, okay. Situations, modernized Air Force. Okay, so our Air Force is modernized now. We have a military industrial complex. Things seem to be going pretty good, actually. Thoughts on Henry Kissinger. Um, I actually, I'm going to be honest. I don't really know too much about Kissinger. I don't know too much about Nixon in that time period. Uh, it's one of the gaps in my kind of historical knowledge. I had a book about Nixon I was reading a bit of, but it's not it in the Vietnam War are actually not something that I've really spent that much time on. I'm sorry to admit. So I think I'm gonna have to look into it more at some point. I don't really know anything about. I don't know enough about Kissinger. My understanding is that Kissinger, at the end of the day, was at least like intelligent. He was intelligent. He was pragmatic, and he was a realist. Even if you thought he was an asshole, he was at least someone who could be reasoned with. And he's kind of in a way the opposite of the current leadership that we have in the U.S. Foreign Policy Department, which is like neocons and ideologues and just people like that. So you ladies were asking for too much too quickly. Okay, so I just got away with it because I'm a Chad. So, so my wife is just like, okay, nope. That's how much of a king Anton Rain is. She's just like okay with me ruining her life's work. What what an absolute titan. Okay, medium investment synergy. I don't have enough money to do that big of one, but we will do a small scale ad campaign. Election speech. Okay. One-on-one interview. Okay. I was too busy thinking about how I would rally my party's conservative base at today's election kickoff. Good morning, sir. Morning, Lucian. Okay, small disc-shaped device. Okay, he gave a satisfied nod. I just received the final results of your investigation to the old guard. Well, don't leave me in suspense. Miss Morgana's task force suspected old guard members of multiple cases of corruption, lobbying, but when they looked into it deeper, they found something truly shocking. The old guard, led by Hawker and Graff, with the suspected approval of Sol, organized the assassination of Bernard Circus. I always thought they were involved. Since you took office, their goal is to protect Sol and his constitution. They needed an event extreme enough to distract you from making reforms. Of course, they didn't succeed. Are there any other things they have done? That might be complicated because we found out about another piece of information. Further evidence suggests that they orchestrated the destruction of Holsword State University archives. We found out that their motive was to destroy the employee records and any proof regarding all the informants they secretly employed at the university from 1930 to 1953. To imagine that this is the extent of our knowledge on their actions is deeply troubling. The chaos they created and the loss of life occurred because of them is treachery at the highest level and must not go unpunished, in my opinion. Who is the main culprit? The main culprit was Lilius Graff. And there are a dozen assembly members and thousands of government officials who may have been aware of the assassination plot and helped cover it up. So I'm gonna just go with Lilius Graff. I don't think I'm in a position to. I don't think I'm in a position to arrest everybody. Plus, a lot of these people are like good patriotic swords, and I am running basically a conservative government, so I'm just gonna get rid of the ringleader. The Archpriest of Dare couldn't be present today, but wanted to relay a message of support to you and your family. What did he say? I bless the rains down in Anrica. Is that a reference to that movie? That song? The rains down in Africa. Maybe. Okay. In the audience were several thousand of my conservative supporters. I wear an FC Enrica scarf to please the locals and remind them that I was still part owner of the team. Sword that flag. Giant Benedict red. Victory is close. Oh, right, him. Okay. Mayor Curtin Leste gave a brief introductory speech. It was hard to forget how the Ben Fee event went down. Everyone cheered as I walked on stage. Although who is now part of the opposition as the member of the NFP, it seemed most of Anrica was still on my side. Yeah, like why do you, what was it that I stopped my wife from yelling at him? So why is he being a bitch and snaking on me? Sons and daughters of Swordland. Over the past 3.5 years, many enemies have tried to destroy me and this fine country. Yet I stand before you now, ready to pledge myself to God and to Swordland yet again. I have begun to fix the disastrous economic decisions of my predecessors. As armed militants threaten to tear us apart, I promise I will uphold law and order. We have brought in change to our broken constitution, and I will continue to root out corruption and wrongdoing even within this very government. Swordland changes, but has changed, but the USP remains as strong as ever. I promise there's been tremendous progress made in this term, and there is more to come. I and Vice President Gilade shall lead Swordland into a bright new era. Uh, it is time, my fellow swords. A new dawn is upon us, and it begins right here and now. Morgana Vescor. Tooth to tooth, eye to eye, effin' Erica. Hey, let's see here. A bunch of situations. High employment. Recent investments in Swordland have resulted in the creation of thousands of jobs. Low unemployment. Good trade volume. Lorna has become a major trade hub for production and energy. That's good. Angland, fish export and tourism hub. Okay. So most of the country outside of Bergia is not doing is doing great. Welfare. I thought I vetoed the. Did I sign the alcohol bill? Maybe I accidentally signed it. Maybe I'm like hallucinating or something. Oh well. Let's see here. So yeah, I think things are like pretty good. I think we're gonna sail to re-election, provided that uh, I don't get removed in a coup or assassinated. Everything else seems to be going pretty good. Economy's good, social policy's good. Policy's good. Most stuff seems to be going all right. Briefing on the current economic situation. Let's see here. I open the door and enter the largest boardroom in the building. Okay, Simon's there. Good afternoon, Mr. President. Good afternoon. As you know, we're here to review the economic progress we've made over the past term and decide how to proceed. I will brief I will brief you quickly on what we have done so far, just as a refresher. Very well, let's hear it. Please turn to page 5. Let's start off with our economy plan. I would like to say we are on track, but unfortunately I cannot. Our decisions so far have not been in line with our initial intention for a market economy. What? It looks like we are going for a mixed approach instead, something in between a market and planned economy. We deviated from our plan. Uh, okay. I'm happy to say that our trade has increased since the beginning of our term. We are on the right path. More trade means a vibrant economy, which means unbridled economic development. For better or worse, Swordland is becoming quite reliant on foreign economies. I can see the benefits, but most voters will not. We will need to provide them with the right narrative. Okay. We need to aim for a more balanced approach. Okay, we can consider that during the second term. In our attempt to repair Swordland's economic system, we went for a mixed approach. We tried to cater to the needs of both business and Swordist citizens. It's been a delicate balance. Thankfully, living standards are steadily increasing. We've been receiving fewer and fewer complaints about our welfare systems. Good, a satisfied population means more votes. Our production rate has gone down since the beginning of the term. We're at a low point now. What? Small business is growing. Major hub for trade hub for production and energy. High employment. What? I don't know. A lot of this stuff, so I'm going to be honest, these things have different triggers. So it's possible for them to say like things that contradict each other. Okay, moving on to logistics. Our situation has improved above and beyond our expectations. Our infrastructure projects have paid off in the long term. Smoother commutes, easier access, faster delivery times. Everybody's happy. We're very close to the end. I prepared a chart. Okay, let's see. Our inflation rate is currently at an amazing 2%, down from 10%. It's the lowest Swordland has ever seen, which is pretty close to, I think, what the ideal inflation rate. I think economists tend to say like 2 to 3% is the ideal. So perfect. Swedish Ren's value has largely been maintained and consumer prices have been stabilized. That's good. Good. What is our debt situation? Our debt situation is at 310 billion, down from 427 billion at the beginning of our turn. We managed to put it down quite a bit. Now, keep in mind, my economy's grown a lot, so that's a much smaller debt to GDP ratio. What's our latest numbers on our GDP? Yeah, so GDP went up by 50% and debt went down by like 50%. So that's a massive growth. Economy grew 16% in the last 4 years on average. Okay, how are we doing with employment? Unemployment is at 5%, which is basically perfect, down from 16%. Okay, that's all the questions I had. Our budget expenditure, we've been fairly balanced. Okay. Our economy is solid enough that we can start thinking big. An extravagant economic action would result in a tremendous increase in public opinion just before the election. Let me see what these do. Um, I'm just trying to find the. I'm curious what these do. Pay back all student debts. Oh, okay. Okay, so the recommendation is if you privatized education, you'll pay back student debts. Okay. Okay, historians may refer to as the Swordfish recovery period. That warrants a celebration for sure. That ought to resonate with voters. Swordfish recovery period. You have done well. History will remember the Reagan administration as the one that ended the recession. Congratulations, everyone. Okay. All right. So we're doing good. Situation updated, student loans written off. I mean, there's worse things you could spend the budget surplus on. Okay, so people are happy. All right, we have an interview now. Franz Richter and the People's Freedom and Justice Party are making waves. Their slogan, Victory is for Everyone, covered the city after a campaign visit. Let's see their formation. Okay. Let's see, what else do we have? Economic stabilization, hurt by let's see, widespread protests, USP mayor, holy site. Let's see how the Capitol's doing. Report very high public opinion. The Heart of Swordland research group's latest polls reveal very high public approval for the current administration, with 73% of respondents expressing strong support. You know, I managed the economy better. I didn't actually need to cheat to give myself more budget. Um, I didn't actually have to do that. That was probably a mistake, but oh well. I only gave myself like an extra two, I think, so I should be at like -2 right now, which wouldn't significantly impact things. It would just mean my debt's a little higher. Okay. Moderate growth. Okay. Stable growth in Grunny. That's nice. Nothing wrong with moderate growth. You only cheated yourself. Yeah, that's true. Uh, Compared to all. Okay. There we go. First long range. ADO alliance enlarges with the inclusion of Swordland. Okay. Long range bombers. I guess that's like the B 52. Okay, so now it's time for the interview about the upcoming election. Okay. Second, I'm just gonna grab something. Okay. I don't want to think that they attacked us intentionally. It must have been a mistake. Does that mean your side is willing to have diplomatic talks with Rumberg? Um, of course. If they are willing to, yes. Do you believe Queen Livingston shares the same statement? I hope she does. I want to look to work together to achieve peace. Let's return to your foreign policy. Let's talk about the ongoing conflict around Heligen. I'm sorry, guys. I'm so bad. Like, you have to admit, though, the spelling of this shit is really confusing. In fact, despite condemnation, you recognize Hedgeland as Angulian land. Angolia is the right owner of Hedgeland. What, let's see, he's trying to do is against international law. It's definitely a possibility. Therefore, all nations of Eastern Mercopa should do their best to calm the situation. So, something interesting that I do find while playing this, something I like about this game, and it's frustrating, but I also like it, is you often will have to do things you don't want to do. Like, you'll have to compromise, you'll have to, like, not say what you want to say, you'll have to be diplomatic. Playing this game, you really do realize why politicians say vague stuff all the time. Because in a lot of these situations, like, it would feel good if you could go and, like, just tell everybody to go fuck themselves and stuff. But you would get in major, like, it would not benefit you at all. Um, I hope the situation won't come to that, but what if it does? We only get involved as a peacekeeping force. Normally close the borders to the refugees fleeing from a massacre. Your border guards worked in cooperation with WESSEC forces. Will you accept responsibility of thousands of lives that were lost in Willen? That's true. You worked with Mr. Willock, but I don't think anyone can blame us for protecting our borders. Many of it criticized Sorlin for its role in this conflict, not accept any criticism. Sure, we could have helped the refugees, but then again, how do we distinguish civilians from militants? You could have. Well, that's all the time we have for today. Okay, the director, thank you for your valuable time, Mr. President. It was a pleasure. I enjoyed it very much. Thank you for coming to Swordland. Private meeting with Lilius Graf. Rum of the helicopter engine, the first of its kind in Swordland, was deafening as we reached the landing pad of Entel Rock Prison. Okay. wondered how Livia was doing, but that wasn't the one who we were there to see. Lilius had a corner cell with a large window overlooking the seaside. It was equipped with a comfortable looking bed and a modest writing desk. She appeared to be busy writing letters as he opened the door. Your hapless attempts to go against the Constitution have gone against everything this country stands for. President doesn't always know what's best. And you think you would have done a better job? I would not have let our proud republic stray so far from its soulless roots. Sol was a great man with whom I share many ideals, but my decisions have always been my own, including the decision to sacrifice one man's life to save millions of Swordish people. Sooner or later, the people will realize that Sol is the best leader they'll ever have. I grabbed wet materials for desk. The guards relocked her cell door and escorted me away. How would I be remembered? Well, I mean, doing pretty okay at the moment. Uh, okay, Mansu Lecky is now the head of the Bloodish Workers Party. Okay. Military parade. This is a real salute. Rick as ever. Old habits die hard. Surge appeared from the entrance and joined us. Mr. President, Mr. Lancia. Uh, Surge performed a salute to Yosef, which made Yosef smile under his mustache. At ease, Mr. Volker. Are they ready? Are we ready to part yet? Not yet. Yes, sir. Please follow me. Okay, have you seen the tanks? Our planes too. Rumberg will be scared when they see this. That is the plan. A great one, I'd say. My kids were very excited to wake up today, to see the planes fly. I love Serg. Where did you do your military service? Morna 9th Artillery Squadron. I still talk with many I have friends from those days. The camaraderie of the military is never forgotten. I'm still in touch with my friends from basic training as well. How about you, sir? Where did you serve? All over Swordland, Mr. President was under my command. Remember those days? Who can forget Major Lancia? We called him the Relentless. Good old days. We are here, sir. A group of 10, maybe 12 latest technology S-16 fighter jets flew above our heads. I thought the engine sound was going to leave me deaf. Tanks engines, the tanks, given my view, they were not the most modern models. However, they displayed our military might. I couldn't even finish my thoughts as one of the tanks broke down and had to be towed. We waited for a few minutes of the announcement. Finally, it was our turn. On both sides of the Victory Avenue, there were numerous citizens cheering my name, waving their Swordfish flags. Salute. And a wave. I saw Soul sitting next to General Velkin. We kept our slow and steady pace. We are almost at the Artor whiskey statue under blades away. A group of soldiers saluted me. They looked proud and stout in new uniforms with brand new rifles. Okay. Will of the state. Yeah, so the parade, because I've done it when I've upgraded the military, and it's been more it's done better under that scenario. So I think I'm gonna end it here. Next time we should get to the end of this. There's probably about an hour left or so. But there's a couple like big moments coming up, and I kind of want to cover them when I have a bit more energy. So I hope you enjoyed the episode. God bless everybody.